The following opinions are solely those of BoatTEST.com and its test captain.
Hi, Captain Steve for BoatTEST.com, and today I'm on the Hampton Yachts 650. Now, this boat was designed for a discriminating owner-operator that's been around and knows quality when he sees it. I'm going to put her through a full sea trial and see how she does. But first, let's take a look at some of the operational features. The flying bridge helm is center-mounted. Glass dash consists of a pair of 16-inch displays, a Garmin 4-data display, and the autopilot just in between. All of the bilge and light displays are over on the right-hand side. The twin cat displays are flanking the center-mounted pod that's got the ignition, and look at this beautiful wood steering wheel. Just to the right, we've got controls for the side power bow and stern thrusters and the main engine controls. And take a look at these seats. Pomponette Platinum Series seats. They have flip-up armrests, they recline, they're adjustable up, down, fore and aft, and they swivel, have flip-down footrests in addition to the built-in footrest on the console. There's a ladder that goes right into these hooks to give us access to the overhead for antenna servicing. The ladder stores right in this compartment here along the seats. At the lower helm, the glass dash concept continues with a pod housing three 16-inch displays. Over to the left is a multifunction display above the Fusion stereo. The lower panel houses the cat displays, the Garmin autopilot, the tank level indicator, VHF. Down below, the track stabilizer control, remote control for the spotlight, wiper controls, windlass control, trim tabs, the two ignitions, the digital engine controls, and the bow and stern thruster. Now these are very cool because this control will also allow you to just push a button to have the thrusters active and hold us against the dock. We've got watertight doors to both port and starboard, which make it great for single-handed or short-handed operations. Now, typically with a boat this size, we see that the seats are crammed together because we're hurting for space. That's not the case here with the 650. We not only have plenty of room between the seats, there's room alongside for someone to join us. We have control stations to both port and starboard on the aft deck, so we have a full view of either side of the boat, plus all the way across the stern.
And these stations are also protected by the long drawn-out overhead that extends out past the side decks.
Now, as I said, we've got the protected overhead of the side decks, and I love that protection along with the safety factor of 19-inch side decks, and look at this. 29 inches coming up to 36 inches. That's safety. We have air intakes on the inside of the bulwarks.
Many motoryachts in class have them outside the hull where they're vulnerable to green water and salt spray, which can get into the engine room.
Diesel fuel on both sides. As we continue forward, we step up, and now we go from the teak deck to the fiberglass non-skid deck. There's a hatch right here that gives us secondary connections for the shore power. So now, depending on how we're docking the boat, we can either use the shore power connection at the stairs or along the side here. We have a side door leading into the control station. And as we continue forward, midship cleats are conveniently located. Now as we continue forward, there are 12-inch cleats to midships and again at the bow. And fully forward, rail height of 32 inches. The ground tackle is all on an elevated platform. To both sides are storage bins. And these come out so that we have access to the 300 feet of all-chain road. The anchor, stainless steel anchor roller, stainless steel plow anchor, leading to a Maxwell windlass, and there is a chain stopper. Foot control switches are to the left-hand side, and we've got both a freshwater and saltwater washdown. At the stern, we've got heavy-duty cleats that are recessed into the bulwarks. To both port and starboard on the first riser, shore power connectivity, and notice the channel that we can lay the cord into so we don't trip over the cord. And the stairs leading down below, just to the right of the helm, we've got the ship's main electrical panel, 24 volt on the left, 220 volt on the right. Just ahead is the generator control panel. Well, this lazarette area is a huge space for storage, so we're certainly not lacking in that department on this boat. Let's take a little look around. Storage, charge masters, main electrical system, the batteries for the house and electric stern thruster. Over to the opposite side, small workbench, more storage, hot water heater, the central vacuum system. Just overhead we have conveniently located grab handles. Now at the back we have the steering gear that we can see is interconnected with a tie bar. And here's something interesting I discovered. The handrails overhead, they're actually deck drains, doubling as handrails. We also have access to the engine room here. Let's take a look. This is a well laid out engine room. Plenty of room to get to both sides of the engine, plus more than enough for standing headroom. We'll start at the back where we have two generators, 16 kW and a 20 kW. Now this one has ABT tracked active fin stabilizers. Taking a look at the port hand side, first up on top we've got ventilation bringing plenty of air into this engine room. And just below there's a manifold system for the diesel hydronic heating system. Now this is an important factor. It's not only providing radiant heat for the stone floors in the heads and in the galley, but it's also providing the heat throughout the boat that has a fan blowing over it. Now it's diesel hydronic, so it's operating on its own furnace.
That means we don't have to have the generators running at night at anchor, and it's much more efficient and effective than the normal reverse cycle air conditioning system most yachts in class have. This yacht is well equipped for 4-season operation in high latitudes.
Now at the forward bulkhead we've got 1, 2, 3 fuel tanks, so that gives us 1, 2, 3 sight tubes giving us the levels. At the bottom we can see that there are crossovers, both small and large. The smaller ones are going to keep the tanks all level. The larger ones we can open up if we want to fuel the boat from one side and then have the tanks all level on their own. Just behind it to both sides I can easily see the track stabilizers, plus I've got the raw water strainers that are easily serviceable. Now here's a feature that I'm happy to see. The raw water pickup going through the hull leads right to the raw water strainer, but there's also another pickup leading to the center and goes down into the bilge, so we can use either engine to pump out the bilge.
This is an emergency system that we recommend on all long-range cruising motor yachts because no standard bilge pump comes near the dewatering capacity of the engine's raw water pumps.
Over on the starboard side, the hydraulic tank for the ABT track stabilizers, and as I said, we can clearly get to all sides of the engines for easy servicing. We've got the C-Torque drive system that should give us vibration-free operation, and the twin-disc quick shift system that should give us silent shifting, so we'll validate those once we get underway. I'm also happy to see that all of the through-hull fittings are bonded for active corrosion protection.
Overall, this is one of the best laid out, best equipped engine rooms we've seen in class. Clearly, the folks at Hampton know what they're doing and have gone the extra mile and spent tens of thousands of extra dollars to help ensure trouble-free operation in remote locations for the owner-operator. The Hampton 650 has a length overall of 66 feet 4 inches, a beam of 17 feet 8 inches, and a draft of 5 feet 2 inches. With an empty weight of 89,500 pounds, half fuel and 4 people on board, we had an estimated test weight of 95,490 pounds. With the twin 1,000 horsepower Cat 12.9 engine spooled up to 2,300 RPM, we reached our top speed of 22.3 knots. However, most people will want a cruiser at a 90% throttle setting of 2150 RPM, which will run at 20.7 knots. At that speed, the 86.5 combined gallon-per-hour fuel burn translates into 0.2 nautical miles per gallon and a range of 258.9 nautical miles. However, when distance cruising is in the travel plan, drop her down to 850 RPM and she'll cruise along at a sedate trawler speed of 8 knots. That speed results in a 6 gallon-per-hour fuel burn, or 1.3 nautical miles per gallon, and a range of 1,447.8 nautical miles, all while still holding back a 10% reserve of the boat's 1,200-gallon total fuel capacity. This is a boat that is as comfortable at trawler speeds as she is at planing speed. She feels solid throughout, and none of the impacts of the waves seem to be transferring through the boat, but stay confined and diffused at the onset. When we advance the throttles, the Cat 12.9's first turbo gets her up on top in an average 8.6 seconds and about 12 to 14 knots, and then the second turbo kicks in that brought us to 20 miles per hour in 10 seconds. So she can make good time to her destination and then loiter forever. But with the comfort level this yacht exemplifies, she's clearly about the journey and not the destination. You just don't want it to end, but end it does, at least for us. For docking, she's a breeze thanks to the large props and the very effective side power thrusters. The twin disc transmissions were as smooth as advertised when shifting gears, and we noticed no vibration at any RPM. We were able to spin her around in close quarters and just slide her sideways. And in fact, even without using the thrusters, she'll walk sideways quite well. I'm not sure about doing it against a stiff wind, but here it worked just fine.
So in my opinion, what we're seeing is a cruising yacht with quality components and ease of operation. Perfect for a discriminating cruising couple. And that's my sea trial of the Hampton Yachts 650. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.